Hi, I'm Rebecca and I'm going to be showing you what you can make with your diamond gift, the watercolour garden collection. I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to make this beautiful 8x8 card using all of the goodies that you get in the kit. Okay, so we're going to make an 8x8 card today. So I do have my card blank ready to go, and I have also got a gold mirror mat to the same size of 8x8. So let's just get started. We are going to take our Perfect Posies topper sheet here, and we're also going to take our printed cardstock, which coordinates with our topper set here as well. Okay, so we're going to do a really simple mat and layer first of all. So we're going to bring our trimmer in, and we're going to do 2 notches under the 8 on both sides. And I'm going to mat and layer that onto our mirror with some double-sided tape. Okay, so now that's completed, I can move on to some other sections of my card. So rather than saving this for another project or popping it in my scraps, we're going to actually utilise that. It's got this wonderful diagonal border on here. So we're going to line this up with our trimmer and just chop into that right there. So we're going to have that polka dot detail and that scalloped edge, as well as our beautiful diagonal. We're also going to trim down the length so that that fits nice and snugly on our card. So we're going to line that up also to 2 notches under the 8 and trim. We're going to add that onto our card using some foam pads as well. And that'll just give us a little bit of extra dimension on our card. Perfect. We're also then going to take our foiled cardstock and make an additional border on here. So we're going to trim this down to 3 inches. And we are going to leave a 2-notch allowance to pop onto a mirror mat. So we're also going to go 2 notches under the 8 with that foiled cardstock. We're going to bring that in for an extra little touch of luxury on our project. And the roses do go so beautifully with this collection. So we're going to get a little piece of mirror to go on that one. And we are going to trim that one to a straight 3x8 border to go on the front of our card. Okay, and the same as our card front, we're going to mat and layer that together with some double-sided tape. And again, we're going to stick that layer just straight on top of our other layer on here onto our card front. You could use pattern paper for this project, or another piece of your cardstock from the collection. You could absolutely swap this out for anything you have from this kit. So we're going to put that on the left hand side. I'm going to put that quite sort of not snugly onto the left, because we are going to have that border coming out onto there as well. So we are going to sort of place it about 1/3 of the way across on there, nice and straight, and then we're going to layer this on here. Now, first of all, before we get this layout going, we are going to decide on which toppers to use. So I think I would love this big circle topper on here, and we can obviously peep this behind some of our frames and further embellish that there as well. I'm also going to take this really sort of poetic sentiment here as well with that gorgeous verse on there, and again we're just going to lay that onto there as well. Obviously once you've got your layout, you can then stick everything down with your adhesive of choice. We're also going to use this Thinking of You to go in the second corner, and as well we are going to further this, embellish this with our blooming marvelous extra embellishments for this. So we're going to sort of lay this down now that we are happy with that sort of layout. I'm going to take my topper and I'm going to remove the middle frame and pop that to one side for another project. And I'm thinking I want to tuck this one under here and then have this settled on top. So we're going to do that right away now. So we're going to put our frame on first. I'm going to add some foam pads onto there. So I'm going to take some of our foam pad strips and just add that going around half of our circle here. Okay, and then we're going to add our border on as well at this point. So we're going to go in with some foam pad strips. And we're going to use a few just to get that really nice good coverage from top to bottom so that we can add that onto our card really nice and easily, and it's not going to buckle or anything like that. Wonderful. And then we're going to tuck this one just on top of here. So we only need foam pads again just on the right hand side. We can just put our double-sided tape or other adhesive on the other side, and we're just going to pop that just on there with some foam pads. And like I say, the side that's going to sit on top of the border, we just need to lie flat, so we're just going to use normal double-sided tape for that. Okay, and then next we're going to add this one as well onto the bottom. So again, when we're layering up, it's really important that we only raise elements that are onto flat surfaces, and ones that are already going on top of raised elements, we just need a normal adhesive such as our double-sided tape. So we're going to just pop that onto there, and again we're going to use some double-sided tape on the bit that has already been raised. Perfect, lovely. So the final one is our Thinking of You sentiment that is just going to, obviously you can just play around with the layout. We're going to pop it there. And then we are going to move on to our blooming marvelous topper sheet. Now with circular toppers, it is really nice to use these pieces that sort of drape round, though alternatively you could just use these other floral embellishments. So I'm going to grab this large floral piece here, and we're just going to tuck that just really nicely on top of there, just like so. I'm going to pop one just on here just for a bit more uniformity onto our project, and then embellish with some extra pieces. So we're going to put those on now. We're going to use our small square foam pads for this project to pop these on. And again, we only really need to raise it where it's not overlapping our frame. So just on the outside edges for this one. beautiful. So we're finally going to finish our card. So we're going to finish that with some beautiful gemstones from our collection, and we are also going to go with one more sentiment from our lovely labels topper sheet, and we're going to go for a wonderfully special lady on here. And again, we're just going to tuck that into our floral arrangement here. I'm just going to simply pop that on with a little bit of construction glue. We don't need any extra height on there. Obviously, you don't have to add all of these extra embellishments. You can add whatever you feel is appropriate for your project. And then again, we're just going to finish with some of our pearl gemstones. So I'm just going to put a baby blue one in each corner of my projects, of my card. And then the final thing is to just adhere that to our card blank. So we're going to bring that back in now. And again, we're going to adhere that on with some double-sided tape. So we're just going to put 3 pieces onto the back of our card front. At this point, you can decide whether you want it to be a tent fold card or just a traditional sidewards opening one. We're going to leave it on the side for our card opening. Okay, beautiful. Okay, and then let's pop this card up. So that is our wonderful 8x8. We've used the foiled cardstock, the printed cardstock, and lots of toppers and embellishments to make this card look really fancy.